All right. So welcome to Starlight Man channel. Today's gonna be a very quick video. You can tell by the live in the title. This is gonna be about the 2 ways to become your own source, right? So I've already talked about this before. I've talked about what are the basically the two main ways basically before, because it correlates to your spirit, to the internal realm, aka your spirit size and your spirit brightness, aka your soul size or your soul brightness, same thing, right? So let's get into it. In this video though, I'm gonna be talking about how to expand these things, or how to brighten your inner self. You see what I'm saying? So the 2 ways to become your own source, right? So understand. So first of all, what is your source? What is your own source? Like I just broke down, your own source is your spirit. The more spirit you have, aka the broader, more expanded your spirit is, the more the more you'll be able to sustain yourself in this realm of reality, and that because that's a form of spiritual abundance. Um, but that it may not always take the form of money. But remember, like I always say, a person, place, or thing can always come into your life and help you way more than money can too, and you'll still be sustained. All because your spirit size is vast and broad enough. Now, another thing you need to worry about is your spirit brightness. What spirit brightness? Your spirit brightness is all your internal light, which your internal realm in general correlates with all of your internal energies, aka which deal with your internal chakra system or your internal energy centers. So that deals with stuff like your imagination, your levels of creativity, um, how consciously aware you are of different things spiritually, um, your intuition. That's from a higher point of view. A mid-range point of view, like a heart chakra, that would be like your emotions and feelings. How much emotions and feelings you have. How much of a vibe are you? And on a lower type of nature, which doesn't mean good or bad though, because you need all these things, will be like your sexual energies, which is very important. Your sexual energies, your ability to how secure you are in your life, which how much stability or security you have in your life too. Your angers, your testosterone, your hormones, all that stuff. But that's how you understand the difference between those two. But now here's the thing. Now how do you do this? Let's start off with the first one, the broadness one. How do you broaden your spirit? How do you make your spirit bigger? How do you expand your spirit? Well, like I always say, your spirit size depends upon how many experiences and how much knowledge you have. AKA, the more lives that a person has been through, that's the more experiences that they've had. Usually, they went through so many different lives. They've experienced so much shit in those lives, and then they've equipped a certain amount of knowledge. Now, so you know off the bat to expand your spirit is to just seek knowledge. The more knowledge you learn, the more consciously aware you get, and it also puts you in a situation where get into more experiences. So expand on your knowledge, learn more, like what they say, seek ye knowledge, learn more, and then get into more experiences in your life. It could be anything. It could be stuff you like or don't like. It don't even matter. Whatever you want to do. You may be not being a skateboarder that day, but if your friend got skateboards and you're like, hey man, you wanna let me teach you how to do this? Say he teach you how to do a flip. You learn how to do a little flip. You learn how to skateboard a little bit. You don't be perfect, but you learn how to the little just to skateboarding. That's an expansion. Your spirit is that tad much bit broader now. That's just a smaller. That's on a smaller example how they explain how all the experiences that you put yourself into and all the knowledge that you learn is what expands your spirit. You know what I'm saying? So in your own life, just make sure that you always expand. That you always either jumping into new circumstances or just jumping into activities in general, because that's gonna put you in a situation where your spirit is now more expanded and more broad, and it'll start to shortly but surely play out is you having more spiritual abundance, aka things may start playing out in your favor in the sense of you'll start finding yourself more stabilized. And if it don't play out as money all the time, it may play out like I said before, a person, place, a thing coming into your life help you either just as much as money can help you or help you way more than money can. Because spiritual abundance working in all shapes and forms. This is why some people could be up under somebody's house, might not have to pay for nothing. And you like, man, that's effed up, man. You don't, all of us gotta work. Yeah, but his spirit may be larger than you. Now, he may be a lazy spirit, don't get, because you can be lazy, as above, so below. You can be rich and lazy down here. You can be rich and lazy in spirit. You can be hardworking, and rich down here and work real hard and get, you can be hardworking as a spirit and but still broad. So there's nothing is black and white. Like I always say, nothing is black and white. Everything works in the different spectrums and modalities of things. But that's how you basically expand your spirit size by By receiving more knowledge, seeking more knowledge, getting more knowledge. That's you getting spiritually fed. Knowledge is a form of eating spiritually. That's how you get more spiritually fed. And also jumping into more experiences and activities in general. I don't care if it's you creating an ant farm. I don't care if you're dealing with animals. I don't care if it's you shoveling poop out the ground. I don't care if it's you being a construction worker, you being a cook, you being a solar panel installer, you working in NASA with the stars, you being a teacher, you being an MMA fighter, you training how to fight, you training different sports, all anything, any and everything that you physically can do with your body, dancing or whatever, it's all a form of experience. That's a physical experience that you just had in this realm of reality. So your spirit is that much more accumulated, so it gets that much bigger. That's like it's like a source. Now it's got that much more source. It's got that much more knowledge and awareness. And you literally eating these things. Experiences you don't understand it, but spiritually you're actually eating these things. But the bigger you get, so you go through this experience, you do this. You might not have to do art before. You practice art. You're not gonna be perfect at it, but you did a little bit of art. Now you know the basic of art. You that much bigger. You learn how to do MMA, so I gotta tell you, that much bigger. You learn how to snowboard, you really care for it, but you thought, hey, gotta give it a try. They taught you how to do it, you that much bigger. You learn how to cook, you that much bigger. You learn how to do this, you that much bigger. And then that's why I say over so many lives you keep doing the stuff, you get that much more bigger. Now sometimes, depending on the person's spirit, they may be in a situation where some people consciously put in a lot of effort to get bigger. So they consciously put themselves in multiple different realms of realities, aka all that means is just put themselves in multiple different activities. They jump into this activity and they jump into that activity. They jump into that activity, they know how to do that, they know how to do something else. They learn how to skateboard, they learn how to snowboard, they learn how to ski, then they know how to cook, they know how to clean, they know how to be uh, uh, insurance worker. They know how to be real estate. Like the people that just jump into all these different realities, their spirit is going to be much more larger than yours if you're in a situation where you don't put that much work in. So some people, no matter what happens, and is you keep living many different lives, your spirit is going to naturally expand because just you experience it. Even if you did the same thing over and over every day, eventually you're going to expand in that because the way you start doing cooking. 6 months from now, you're not gonna be cooking the same way. You're gonna be know how to do it a little bit better. So that's a new experience too, even just within the realm of cooking itself. Then 3 years later, you gonna know how to cook way better than you did 6 months when you was just 6 months in. So that's you way more expanded into cooking now. So even if you do the same thing over and over, you still gonna expand. But this is why people may live lives sometimes where they don't actually consciously expand. They don't purposely put in a lot of energy work into jumping into new activities and expanding. So these are people that they probably expand at a much more slower rate, and they probably expand much more slowly. So it may take them a longer time to what they consider reach the egg or ascend and get big enough to reach a higher vessel or a bigger vessel because their spirit is not big enough yet. But eventually, no matter what, even if you don't purposely put in energy work in, you're gonna eventually make it there anyway because all the lives you're gonna live so many lives before your spirit get big enough, all that experience, and you'll be forced to take a higher vessel in such a form. Whether you still taking a ghost or a deified being around this realm of reality, but you're still in the fourth or the sixth dimension, the spirit realm, or whether you're in a situation where you get fully submerged in the spirit world in totality, and you still and because you're not attached to this world. Because a lot of times people that expand real slowly, they end up getting attached to this world because um they be lost into something that's in it, so they don't really want to do. But that's a different video, so don't even worry about that. But I'll do a video on that one day. But that's how that plays out. You see what I'm saying with spiritual expansion. Now, spirit brightness is a little bit different. Deep spirit brightness still plays out as a form of expansion because it's still an experience that you as a spirit, whether internal or external, is experiencing. But spiritual brightness is more so predicated upon just strictly your internal realm, aka everything dealing with your internal energies, like I already broke down before, your imagination, your levels of imagination and creativity. Yeah, excuse me, hold on 1 second. Damn. All right. So listen. With all these things that deal with your internal realm, like I said, your imagination and creativity, your intuition, all those all deal with the higher parts of your internal realm, aka the higher chakras. And then you got stuff like emotions and feelings. Um, and emotions and the way you feel, your vibration, how you feel about stuff, your moods, all that stuff, emotion, though that's a sense of inner currency as well. Internally, that's a sense of brightness. And then you got like your sexual energies and stuff like that. And all these things are a sense of internal brightness. You see what I'm saying? Your internal brightness. So You could be smaller in spirit, like I always say, but you can still have a lot of internal brightness in the sense of that's just how well you work with your inner chakras. How much your inner chakras is spinning. Fucking cat. Hold on. This doing this business. Let me see. Black cats. But anyway, um, that's how that play out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that black cat be getting big. It ain't eat it. But anyway, so basically, you gotta understand that, right? So that's how things play out. So you want to get to the point where you melt both of these, but those are the basically basic two forms of having your own source. What is having your own source? Having your own source just means your your ability to sustain yourself in this realm of reality, or not need something else outside of you to get something done, or to attract certain things or manifest certain things in your life. And see, the only two ways that you end up doing this is either from you having a broad enough spirit. When your spirit is broad enough, that plays at a form of all these are really some forms of abundance spiritually, and spiritual wealth and currency. So when your spirit is broad, that's a sense of currency because you got all this information, aka the knowledge, all these experiences, aka all these experiences and knowledge that's in there. That plays out as the source of your spirit because your spirit is broader, so you can sustain yourself in this realm of reality a lot better, because your spirit is so broad. So even if you sit on your A all day, things might play out where you get either taken care of or a person puts a thing come in your life to help you out, or it may actually bend into physical money depending on how you play your cards and the different situations too. Which I said I'm gonna make a video about that too, the difference between the two. But either way, that's how to play out. Is you being sustained in this realm of reality in such a form. But the brightness part, the brightness plays out is more so you having your own eternal light to manifest certain things in your favor in general, dealing with all the different areas of life. So like each chakra energy center portal that you have lit and that's spinning well and broad, that's the area of life that you'll attract more so of. So like I said, sometimes you can have a broad heart chakra or a broad root chakra, but you might lack the higher chakra. Sometimes you have a broad heart chakra and a broad root chakra, but might lack the heart chakra, and something vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So but your whole job is to have all these things lit. But when you're in a situation where your heart chakra is spinning real well and bright, then you're gonna attract a lot of people that you can connect to on an emotional level, on a deeper level that you can actually feel comfortable opening up to connect to in the first place. When your root chakra is well bright and lit and spinning, you're gonna be in a situation where you'll attract a lot of sexual opportunities, sexual attraction in your life, or people that can actually satisfy you with your sexual desires and pleasures in the first place, and not have that much trouble getting sex in the first place. And you're from a higher chakra point of view, when your higher chakra is lit, you're gonna find yourself either being more intuitive. It could be two ways. From a spiritual point, it could play out as you being more intuitive and you being deep and being more consciously awareness, have more conscious awareness spiritually what's actually going on, like philosophy and spiritual knowledge. And then on the other side, it might also, or it could play out as you just having a lot of imagination in general, either a broad imagination or a lot of imagination, or you having a sense of broader creativity. You see what I'm saying? Or having a lot of creativity in before. That's how internal light plays out. You see what I'm saying? That's how internal light plays out. Um, and then that, like I said, that'll play out as you also attracting certain things like that. That's more so attraction. Like that's the best way to say it. The internal brightness is more so attraction. The spirit side is more so just being able to sustain yourself in this realm of reality as a whole and being influential to others. So it's more like your push off. Your internal light is more like your suck in, your yin. So when you look at like black holes and stuff like that, and quasar stars, you seeing high examples of how we play out. I told you we all are basically stars. We're smaller versions of stars. So when you see stars, that's why you always put stars as 5 pointed. Because when we stretch out our wingspan, we have 5 points as well. So we're smaller versions of stars. And then we see a 6 pointed star. That's a star that is higher ranked and stuff like that. And that's where we get into different seraphims and all that stuff like that. But I ain't gonna get that far. But just understand there's always life within life, and we play that out on a smaller level. So we doing the same thing that stars and different ones have, but we just do it on lesser ability because we don't have as much power. We don't have as much accessibility, as much energy. So we play it out on smaller levels, but we still be doing similar things. Um, it just may look different and play out different in the physical realm of reality that we're actually in. But we always playing life. We always playing mimic of whatever is above or whatever is out there. So, for instance, we're like smaller versions of stars. Stars play that on a broader level. But they have way much more light and energy than we ever can have. Look how bright the sun is. They have way much more energy. And the sun, by the way, is a small ass star. Like you know, the sun is a small ass star. Like when you actually see all the different stars, the sun is like a small baby. It's like a long, like a little baby star. You got other stars like Rigel and even Sirius is a little bit bigger than it. But you got stars like Rigel, then you got Antares star, then you got a whole bunch of different stars out there. And since their spirit is bigger because they're in the bigger vessel, aka their star is bigger, so that means they're more expanded. And depending on how bright they are, lets you know how much energetic currency that they have and energetic chi that they have that they push off. But that's how it basically play out. Your spirit size plays out is more so you being able to sustain yourself in this reality and how influential you are, seen and unseen, and how much space you take up as a spirit, aka how much space you take up, how much influential you are to people seen or unseen. So wherever your moon sign may lay, that may be the certain group of people that you see what I'm saying? It just plays out in many different ways, but that's how strong your that's how broad your influence is. That's the best way to say it. Um, and then when a person die, if your spirit, like you said, your spirit big, so you'll take up a lot more space. A lot of more people are either combined by your rules, or you'll be over a lot more people because your spirit is that much more broad. That's how it works. You take up space. That's how cities and stuff is. Um, all these different spirits over each city and stuff like that, in each state, in each country. Like I said, anything with a name and title, continents, all that. Continents are just the biggest version of these things. The bigger the usually the bigger something is, like how a state is bigger than the city. The state been here longer than the city, so that's why I say old souls and spirit sides being bigger because you've experienced a lot more. The state be bigger than the city, so whatever the intellectual property over the state is a lot more ancient and older than the city. The city came after the state a lot of times. And then with the country, you see with the country, the whole country done been here longer than that state has, or in a situation I'm talking about from when it got to a situation where it was somebody put their own intellectual property on it and named it whatever they before these names and titles came. The country came first before the state. And then a lot of times the whole continent was there. You know what I'm saying? And et cetera, et cetera. It's like the bigger something is, like the continent of Asia. That's the oversoul, the continent of Asia. So that's the biggest continent in the world, I think. So that's a big ass oversoul. It's probably like the biggest oversoul here that is on Earth. To be honest, is probably Asia. To be honest, I can't think of no other one bigger. Maybe Antarctica, if that's not a part of a continent. I could be wrong. And that's whichever one is bigger. That lets you know that that spirit that's over the whole spirit that's over Asia in general is a lot more broader than all the other different spirits that's over different things. You see what I'm saying? They may be smaller. Like the spirit of Asia and the intellectual property and continent of Asia as a whole is way much older and way much more broader than let's say the spirit of just Florida. Now Florida has its own expansion too because it's not the smallest state, but that's just amongst other states its size. But once you start getting into other countries and stuff like that, you see what I'm saying? It makes a difference. But that's basically understanding that. But as I say, we all play these out on different levels. Like I said, we all 5 pointed. We play out small versions of the stars in that realm. You see, they give off a lot of light and they attract. And then you got even bigger versions of that. Like once you get to a whole galaxy level with the black holes and the quasar stars, which are like the brightest stars in existence so far that we know in the observable universe. Those play out that on magnitude levels. That's like in the realm of God. That's in the third, what you consider the third heaven, the highest one of the highest realms. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to get lost into that right now. I'll make that in another video. But that's understanding energies and how stuff work, what your source is, the two ways of having the source, how to achieve them, what they do for you, and how to go about it, and understanding what these things are in totality. You see what I'm saying? But with that being said, much love, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Have any questions, hit me in the conversation in the chat, and I'll get back with you with the video of your favorite. Peace.